let's talk about Battleborn. Let's get some of the folks from the team here. Who's with us from Gearbox? Ladies and gentlemen, this is Randy Varnell, creative director. And this is Aaron Lindy, writer. What's that? Hey, for everybody that thinks that we're onto something here, thank you so much for your support. You know, when we were creating Borderlands, it was really difficult to get people's attention, to get people to care. The industry was saying, why are you doing Borderlands? You should just make more Brothers in Arms. We learned things.
Seems somewhat comical now, but
it was true.
I love Brothers in Arms. Don't take that the wrong way. That is like my favorite thing I've ever touched. But like, come on, it's Borderlands. Like,
right. It's crazy. But we learn things and we get better, and we want to, and we'd like to take risks and try things that haven't really been done before. And so Battleborn represents all of that energy for us, and it's the most important thing we're working on right now. And Randy, the creative director, and Aaron. Who else is? Are we inviting anybody else up right now, or are we going to start with you guys?
I think they're going to talk about high-level story, right?
Right. We're going to talk for a second. Then we've got a few other really awesome people that work on the team with us here.
Tell us about Battleborn. Sorry.
Well, it's really kind of a.
Why do all of Gearbox original games start with B?
Well,
Brothers in Arms, Borderlands,
Randy, that is 100% your fault. You're not allowed to rhetorically ask that question.
Well, the story of Brothers in Battlelands is this.
A bunch of soldiers from World War II go looking for a vault in France. It's pretty great.
Give Randy Varnell a round of applause. That was very impressive.
No,
they did.
It's really kind of a serious, contemplative biopic, you know, just about this deep relationship between a dwarf and an elf.
Yeah, totally. Have you guys seen The Notebook? It's basically that.
Right. with more sword licking.
Right, a little bit more sword licking.
No, we talked about this a lot, but you know, this is kind of the game where we just let our imagination to go crazy. I remember when we sat around at the very beginning, we were imagining, you know, okay, we've got this really awesome game, Borderlands, that we can do kind of whatever we want. How can we do more of whatever we want, you know, and really follow this character promise? So we started thinking about it, and we wanted this really cool high-stakes universe, but something that can have a lot of characters and something that we could do, you know, big extremes with. And so I said, you know, what if we set it at this really weird extreme at the end of the universe? You know, science tells us one day that, you know, stars have a certain amount of fuel, and they eventually all burn out. And there'll be this weird day, billions of years in the future, where all the stars have gone out, you know, except one.
That's actually going to happen. Is everybody depressed now?
Yeah.
We're all going to die.
We're all going to, Our universe is one day going to be a black, horrible place with nothing in it. Isn't that great, you guys? Awesome.
So we start with kind of this heady sci-fi concept. We said, let's put our flavor on it, right? Let's add in a villain that's like accelerating that to the end, and let's imagine what would happen then if all of the people in the universe that were left, you know, could get on their planes, trains, and automobiles, or their spaceship, or their weird warp holes, or whatever they do. Warp hole. That's a word now.
It is now.
Warpole.com.
Warpole.com. Don't look that up. Don't look that up.
That should have been your line.
Yeah, I should have grabbed that one.
Yeah, sorry.
Wait, dude, I missed rehearsal. But what would happen if these great and varied beings from everywhere, you know, all kind of gathered together to try to save the universe? So that's what you guys get to do in just a few months. You get to join in and become a Battleborn and work to save the last star in the remaining universe. And do that in a lot of different ways. What about you, Aaron?
I actually have a question for Lindy.
Yes?
Because I've noticed this trend when we go harder into comedy, for example. It's always like the most like dire, terrifying thing, and we tend to pull comedy from
Why do we do that?
very scary things. And
Yeah.
I love doing that, and I just wanted to know like what that was like for you,
Yeah,
trying
well-
to make people laugh when 99.9999% of the entire universe has died.
Right. Well, it's
Like you do.
which is a really inherently hilarious scenario, right? The idea of no, it's funny because so when I was hired, it wasn't a comedy. It wasn't. There was no like the tone of it hadn't been defined or
very
anything. But it
serious.
just happens to be that's in Gearbox's DNA.
That's what I did on Borderlands. It was so serious, and I was
Yeah.
like, no.
Yeah.
No.
But with me, it was just kind of like it wasn't a question about whether or not it was going to be funny because I can't take myself seriously enough to write a story about something that heavy and actually get through the whole of the narrative with it because like it's so intense. So that's why the characters you figure that characters that spend the entirety of their lives, and not just their lives, but every preceding generation, because again, this is in an unimaginably distant future. and this is the scenario in which these characters have found themselves the entirety of their lives, and for again, like everybody's in the same boat. It sucks for everybody. You'd figure they'd have a way to cope with that. Like if every day you woke up and thought, well, there's like, I don't know, 60 stars left and we're all going to die. That really sucks. But hey, let's tell some dick jokes. There are actually no dick jokes in Battleborn. There's a surprising lack of dick jokes in Battleborn. But that's pretty much where it came from, because
We can rectify that.
But and also like and
I just wanted to use the word rectify in the context of dick jokes.
oh yeah.
Why do I keep stealing all your lines, Chris?
I don't know. I was
Prepared all
going
this
to throw.
material.
What's funny is you, like a lot of your stuff, just very quickly, also is like, what would be the funniest thing? Night terrors with like demons come into your brain? This is perfect.
No,
You should write something for us
I
at
would-
some
I would
point.
love
You guys
to do
want
that.
Chris to do
I
that?
would
Because I'd love to work
absolutely
with Chris
love
and
to do
Indy on something.
But
Let's talk about it.
that-
Let's talk about it.
But that kind of humor comes out of that great tragedy. Like, it's so enormously horrifying.
Yeah, there's a point at which all you can do is laugh.
It just
It's
loops around, yeah.
But I love the contrast of the story, right? You have this terrible, ominous thing, but it's also, if you can pull it out, if the heroes can save the
Yeah.
universe, man, that's big stuff.
I tried the inverse. Like, I pitched a product to Randy where all the characters were hilarious and the whole scenario was hilarious and they all died. It didn't
No.
go the other direction very well. It just
true.
The original story is
Yeah.
just everybody's having a good time.
and they're dead.
Don't worry about it.
Literally.
And then
There's
they
no
die.
conflict.
The first draft story for Battleborn
Yeah,
was, well,
yeah.
there's one star left in the universe and nobody's fighting for it. Everybody's being really cooperative and cool about it. We're all getting along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, my favorite
Really easygoing,
My favorite thing about the narrative construct, though, that has been worked out by you guys and the team is that you start from this kind of premise that all of these disparate factions really can't exist together. Their ethos is mutually exclusive. They have to kill each other because the stakes of the entire universe is at stake, right? But you start from that point, and then they actually figure out that their best bet is to stop hating each other and to be on the same team and work together against the real problem. And I love that. I just like that whole thing because I think that's like kind of how life works.
Yeah, maybe
You know?
the people on Game of Thrones should maybe play our game because there's a zombie army over the wall and you guys are going to squabble over it. Come on, Game of
But-
Thrones.
but
Pick
you-
it up, George R. R. Martin.
You remember, though, at the beginning, Randy, when we started, we didn't actually have the fictional context. We started with this premise like, how do we get a game where it's totally freaking cool and fine and nobody has any problems with this to basically have like a character that's like Master Chief in the same fight as like Gandalf the Wizard, in the same fight as like a Jedi.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
And
it's-
like and it's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine. Everybody's
And it's incredibly surreal to have like some of the moments that we have in the game where you have these characters that are so unbelievably different from one another, but they are in a scene together, and it makes perfect sense that they're in a scene together. And it's the most alarming thing to see a guy like Montana and a guy like Rath like just like having just a kind of just biz cash conversation or something about the end of the universe, and you're just like, oh, these characters are in the same game. That kind of blows my mind.
It goes back to, I think for me, I'd say every 8-year-old boy's dream, but it was certainly mine where, I've got this toy box full of, I grew up in the Star Wars, Transformers, G.I. Joe, Masters of the Universe era where it was all, and Smurfs, I guess, all in the afternoon cartoons, and you come home and imagine what happens if Papa Smurf fights, a Lion-O or whatever.
exactly. And I remember
Can I
when we-
interject
I would
one
watch
question?
that
I'm so
show.
sorry. How many coffees have you had today, Varnell? 'Cause is it 100?
One.
Was there
101?
cocaine in it?
He's
Was there-
speaking.
There was crack in it. If you remember too, when we were talking through that, the other thing that we realized, you guys have all, I'm assuming most of you have played Borderlands games, and you know that the characters, even though they have different kind of abilities and you can build them very differently with their skills, they all fundamentally have the same physics. They're going to move at the same speed. They're going to jump at the same height. And we were talking about how cool getting those disparate characters to have different skills. And we started dreaming about all the different FPSs we've played and how the physics really define the character. And we wanted all those different characters in one game. Like when I play BioShock, for example, I can shoot my gun with the right hand and cast a magic spell with the left, right? And we have characters that do that. Like, does anybody do you have a shot of Melka? Can we put her on the screen?
Let's see. Wait.
Oh, is she up
okay.
there?
Wait.
I can't
wait.
see the screen. Oh yeah. So
go.
like, yeah. So Melka's like that, where gun in one hand, powers in the left.
Yeah, like a bladed transforming mutant glove in the left. Melka's all about movement and jumping and kind of kinetic energy, right? But she's that great SMG sword punch disappear, type of play. She's really cool.
I love Melka. By the way, Melka is one of the new characters that hasn't really been shown before. We showed her for the first time at Gamescom in Germany just a couple of weeks ago, and we wanted to share her with you. Another character that we haven't exposed yet, because there's 25 characters launching in Battleborn.
25. And all of these characters, again, they're lovingly crafted, just like every FPS character you've ever played. So this is a fully rendered, fully realized FPS character that it's got all the animations, I like 17 hours of VO per character or something like that, right?
I don't know what it works out to time-wise, but
it's not that much.
Our grids are like something like 650 lines per character right now.
A lot of expression. You guys like characters? These characters have a lot of character.
I feel like we should get
Let's bring some other guys out.
Yeah,
now. Let's
because
talk about
I feel
characters.
weird talking about these characters when some of the people that created them. Hey, look, this is Brian Thomas.
Woo!
Brian is a game designer, and Brian and Mikey work together on a lot of the cinematics for Borderlands, and Brian's driven that a lot at Gearbox, but he's also designed a huge percentage of Battleborn.
Just bring your own chairs. We didn't think this through.
This is Scott Kester, the art director of Battleborn. Amanda is a concept artist working on Scott's team. Scott designed, like, all of you guys cosplaying as Borderlands characters. Like, Scott designed most of those characters. So, and you can see his art evolving as you see what he's doing in Battleborn.
I have to use Chris's microphone now. Is this working? You have to talk right into my mouth. We've done before.
And
Yeah, we can
right, okay. And Amanda's a drawer. Amanda, did you design Milka?
Yeah, Milka is one of my designs.
Right on. Who designed Ambra?
I designed Ambra.
Let's put Ambra up on screen. Let's get her up there. How do we even? I can't tell. Okay.
No,
There we
we're
go.
told.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about Ambra.
Oh man. Okay, so to kind of real quick to piggyback a little bit off of what Varnell said, I was obsessed with Evil Lynn from He-Man when I was a kid. And this is my Evil Lynn basically. But she's rad. I mean, she's a support character, but she's a badass support character. And like one of those things, she can kind of get in. She's a little more melee. She's not just gonna kind of stand back and kind of heal from the.
We're made of microphones now. I don't know.
I'll pass this back to you in like another 2.5 minutes. It'll be great.
Somebody made a Walmart run. That's good.
Spare no expense.
Amber's cool because she's a part of the Generate Empire, the Generate faction. They're kind of the I won't say the evil empire of our game, but they're definitely aggressive and conquerors and all that. Yeah. And she's kind of got, she starts off with this really dire backstory, but then again, I think she comes out like with a personality of like a really uptight schoolmistress or something, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah, I think one of my favorite lines of hers is, "I will not rest until every shirt on this planet is tucked the fuck in." So that pretty much summarizes. That's in a nutshell. That's Ambra. She's like a high-ranking official in the Generate.
Are you under the age of 12? Were you all cool with that? They're cool. They're cool.
Yeah.
These kids know what's up.
It's gonna be bleeped.
Stop that.
It's bleeped.
Brian, what's Ambra's ultimate?
Her ultimate is literally a giant meteor that fills most of the battlefield, and she summons this thing, and everybody just stops for a second, and it's slowly just falling.
It's ridiculous.
Falling, and everybody runs. And
Hey, remember your night terrors from Majora's Mask? Well, get ready.
she basically just drops the moon on you, and that's how she supports, because everybody just scatters. You just see everybody go, "Oh crap, I want to not be here."
It's hysterical when you have that one guy that's not paying attention, and the meteor slowly coming down. He's gonna die.
Amber just whips out a taunt right in the middle of it. It's like, why is she dancing? That's really weird.
Who concepted Benedict? Because he's the one I've been playing the most lately.
That was Amanda.
Amanda, so do we have a picture of Benedict?
Yeah, I think we have some.
This dude is awesome. This dude freaking flies.
Yep.
You can fly.
Yeah,
So
which is super easy
it's
to
a hawk
balance, by the way.
with a
One of
rocket.
these characters, he flies
Amanda,
and has a rocket launcher.
tell us about Benedict.
All right, well, my first exposure to the character known as Benedict was during an early playtest where he wasn't his majestic self. He was Axton with a chicken head.
It was.
We kit bash pieces from other games. So,
I'm really bummed out that didn't end up being final.
I forgot about that.
I'm so bummed.
Yeah, so for every awesome looking Battleborn character that you have, there's a really either hilarious or terrifying prototype. But
We're gonna have a great art book of all of those weird
Yeah.
prototypes.
yeah.
What I want is like my friend Ryan's out in the audience. He's actually dressed as Axton today. Can you do this again and just put a chicken head on, and then you're
You'll look like-
cosplaying as a temporary concept?
Oh yeah, there it is.
Cosplaying is
Yes. Ryan, write it down.
Oh my
Write
God.
it down.
Where did that?
And that's how we make games.
I couldn't find an actual screenshot, but I really wanted to show you
Ship it.
guys how.
Did you know they
we
had?
do
Did you know?
things. Yeah.
What?
Did somebody
even
just
know we
yell
had-
DLC?
Yeah.
Is that
That's ridiculous. Do you actually have any concept art of Benedict?
Yeah, we do somewhere in here have. There we go. So his high level basically was we wanted a really, really awesome rocket jump character.
Did you hear rocket jump character?
Yeah.
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 But I think where he differs from a lot of traditional rocket jumpers is that he actually has wings and he can glide. So he can sustain his jump. And basically his entire loop kind of revolves around flying, shooting rockets, shooting smart rockets, shooting super big, giant nuke explodey death rockets.
Did you guys sit backstage and just say like, let's have a contest on who can swear the most?
Did I
Not,
just
not,
swear?
not my best. Not my best. I'm sorry. Goodbye.
Fracas.
The other cool thing about Benedict, and I'm not sure, Brian, you'll have to tell us like how this emerged, but he uses his wings like kind of like Maleficent did in the movie, where he can actually like throw guys back and knock people out of the way. And
Yeah, he's
powerful with these
one of our
wings.
best mobile characters because you want that flight mechanic. I mean, like, look at him. You want a giant thing full of wings flying everywhere. So you just tap that bumper skill and just fly up in the world and knock everybody else.
Can I ask one question about this, Amanda? It's my favorite thing on the character, but I want your insight here. On his on the screen, the right wing, it has caution striping on it, as if a 200-pound piece of metal flying around at like 1,000 miles an hour. I feel like caution is kind of implied.
Yeah.
But I was very curious.
People walk right up to him, and the guy instantly.
Benedict isn't really a subtle guy
he's not a subtle guy.
at all.
His attacks are rockets, and another rocket.
Yeah. But actually, that was one of the interesting challenges about concepting this character from both a design and concept point of view is if he has wings, why can't he fly, like sustained? And we have design challenges of where we basically have to have a roof, right? So we said, okay, maybe one of his wings is broken and he has a metal prosthetic and he balances it out with the rocket hog. I mean, with the rocket launcher.
He still breaks maps though.
Yeah,
Like, we used
and
to
then-
call
And he's still
Then we
ridiculously
just
powerful.
plaintively whined the code team until finally Philip, our amazing coder, and Philip we trust, finally got flight mechanics in, and it was just amazing. Like to watch people just go like, okay, you can literally just hold the button down and just glide around the map and fly and rain death.
And
down
then you
on
use the
everybody.
back launch and get new height again.
And he's got
yeah.
a strafe
Yeah.
too. He's
Raining
really,
rockets
really
down the
powerful.
whole time.
and watching somebody who's really good at Benedict play Benedict is like watching a symphony of murders just erupt in front of you. It's the most elegant, destructive thing you'll ever see because it's just this nice like figure flying.
Symphony of Murder is my POD cover band. That was for you, Paul and Storm. I know you couldn't be here.
So
Pretty good.
we just wanted to share a few of the characters that haven't been out there yet. By the time we launch the game, there'll be 25 characters, and that's a lot. Like 25 characters is a lot because each character in Battleborn, we've invested more into them than anything we've ever done before. I once looked at the number of bones in the animations or in the skeletons that are animated. I looked at the average polygon count of the models, the fidelity of the materials and the texture density, and I realized that each character in Battleborn is about 4 times on average what a character in Borderlands was. And there's 25 of them, and they all have very unique physics. And there's a PvP game where they play against one another. You can imagine this leads to unbelievable complications and permutations of possibilities. And it's very exciting to see that. In fact, each character, and well, I'm going to ask Brian in a little bit, I want you to talk a little bit about the Helix system, but we try, because it can get so complicated, Brian came up with this brilliant design to help us quickly build out a unique build in course of gameplay, and we call it the Helix system, where at each level you make a binary choice, A or B. But with those 10 levels and with that binary choice, there's actually astonishing amounts of variety. There's actually over 1,000 hero customizations per character just in the base Helix, right? That's a lot. It's a lot.
Right.
That's per hero.
That's the start.
Yeah, that's the start.
And I mean, that's our goal. We want you to be able to play a match and see, like, man, I played Marquis last match, and the Marquis on the other team played him completely differently. He made entirely different choices, and you may not see that combination of choices again for dozens, hundreds, thousands of matches.
Now, there is also loot in the game, gear. There's things you can collect and modify your character. And some of those modifications we're calling mutations now.
Well, yeah, the mutations are unlocked as you kind of rank up your character. You have your characters you can grow not only in the match that starts over every time,
matches.
But in between matches, you can go from 1 to 15, and each of those ranks you're going to unlock something new on the character. One of the things are mutations, which adds another choice in those Helix rows.
You can modify your Helix.
Right. So this adds more choices. It gets to something like what, 7,000?
I don't know. I think they did the math on it.
choices.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. So that adds more variety.
Right. So when you've ranked up your character and you've earned all of the modifications to the character, now you have over 7,000 different ways to build each character.
And these are pretty big differences. Like, you shoot a grenade, and then you shoot a MIRV grenade, and then you shoot a MIRV grenade that creates fire. Your grenade explodes on impact. Your grenade bounces, and you can do all those different things on a character, and every character has their unique differences on that. So.
Yeah, we really hope that way, when you do find that, like dozens of characters that you love, like you're going to want to go through and play them over and over and over again so that you unlock all the options and you feel all the different changes that you can make to make that character who you want to play as. And we have some really interesting ones, like Rath has this giant shockwave that he sends out, and you can get this mutation that like makes that shockwave itty bitty, but it just wrecks anybody that hits it. Yeah. So you're giving up all this ability to hit a lot of targets, but anybody that you hit is just dead in the water.
Yeah, and these are like, and the changes too are like, they're way more than they feel like completely different. Like Montana, right? Montana's got a skill that allows him to. He's got like he's got a big minigun kind of thing, and at max, it'll stop firing at max heat. You can augment Montana such that you can continue firing beyond that limit, and he just takes damage. So like that completely changes, because Montana's primarily a tank, but it completely changes like the dynamics of how he works in combat. He feels like a different character with that augment.
And then he can light himself on fire.
Yes, he can also do that.
So with 25 different characters, you can't take them all into any scenario. A typical campaign match, if you're going to play cooperatively, you'll bring 5 characters with you. But remember, each character has a huge number of possible ways to play them. So depending on the scenario you play them, some of the characters will build one way and others will build another, and they'll work together as a team, creating a huge, astonishing number of combinations, team combinations. There's the slide where they did the math. Is that coming up?
There it is.
Yes. So in campaign play, over 6 million different team comps between all the different ways you can build the characters. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I appreciate that everybody showed their work too.
I know, right? They actually
you just asked that they show their work.
Yeah, it's right up there above the number. You can plug it into your calculator at home. Verify these values.
Or ask Siri. I don't know what a calculator is.
Yeah.
And when you take everything, you think about the different ways that you can build the characters, the different ways we can modify them, the different teams per side in a PvP match or a campaign match, and we start adding gear to it, which is absurd because there's thousands of pieces of loot. There's just a huge number of possible combinations, and this is actually what's the next slide you guys did?
Yeah.
These are just
that's billion.
Yes, there's actually more hero and team combinations possible, enough for every single person on the planet to have 7 that are unique to them. If every single person on Earth,
You're welcome.
Yeah. So
Let's get Madagascar in on this right now.
This is procedural thinking at work. So that's pretty cool.
Now, my favorite loadout is 1,273,486.
Yeah,
Now,
that's a great one.
Can you go in depth on that, Varnell, a little bit?
Well, that's where Benedict scatters chicken feed, and then.
Fair enough.
He's not a chicken anymore.
Oh no, that was a different one.
Let's show the. I think we had a shot of this Helix because I did promise I wanted Brian to. Yeah, did we skip ahead there? Oh yeah, there was one slide. Go back. There's stars. The stars in the universe one. We'll show that slide. That's true.
Well, it's more than the stars in the universe in this game because there is, again, only the one. So it's way
we only
bigger.
needed 2. We could have stopped there.
By a factor of...
We literally have 2 combinations.
Let's get the Helix up. Okay? Can we do that? because I want to do a magic trick soon, but BT needs to talk about this. This is really cool. It's up there? Oh,
All
cool.
right. So this is what a helix looks like. We have that binary choice, and it kind of looks like a DNA strand. And you can imagine when you unlock your mutations, they kind of mutate it and add some extra options in the middle of it. So this is Caldarius's helix. And kind of on this top line, one of the things that you can get right off the bat is you can upgrade your TMP, your pistol that you're shooting all the time, or you can upgrade your flashbang. So you're sort of making a choice right off the gate about what sort of playstyle do I want. Do I want to be the guy that's reserving all of my skills and sort of using those as my primary damager, or do I just want to beef up that TMP? So in this case, he has a dash skill, so he can just rocket right across the map, and he can upgrade that. So every time he does that, it just automatically reloads the clip. So you can fire off your clip, dash, fire off your clip, dash, fire off your clip, dash, and just get in that loop over and over and over again. Or you can be sitting there and reserving your grenade and saying, okay, this grenade, I'm going to shoot this thing out into a crowd, cause bleed damage, keep everybody's shields down for a long time, and sort of be playing that more, vulture role where you're just sort of picking people off or setting up your teammates for the kill. And that's really one of the things that we wanted to bring out with the Helix was, you're playing this not just the way that you want to play, but you're also playing this as a team game. Like, what's the best way that I can set up my teammates? How's the best way I can get, Aaron over here to drop a nuke with Benedict? And that's one of the things that we really want to impress on people is that you got a lot of choice here, and part of your choice is about playing with others because that's the fun.
What's neat about these is they're actually pretty profound with some of the different, just binary options, really profound differences. What's the next one you guys have? Oh yeah, this one's cool. The Merv versus Flash Brush.
Yeah, so I mean, these are two really good damage upgrades for that grenade. So you can get it so you're shooting off 3 grenades in succession. So you're just sort of like raining death on lots of the areas of the battlefield, or you're just beefing up that grenade again. So when it explodes, it just fragments into all these little cluster grenades and just.
So this is by the way. Do you guys remember the Boba Fett wrist rocket launcher thing? You ever wanted to do that? That's what this does. It's amazing.
If you like a Gundam strafing Boba Fett rocket launching guy, we made that character for you.
Yeah, just like that.
We went right inside your brain and found that.
Don't like
We've
that.
heard
Like,
your
that's
request.
too specific.
But like Randy was saying, like we want these things to feel profound. We want them to feel impactful. We don't just want to crank a number on you. And we also want you to be able to make these decisions quickly. We don't want, you're playing a PvP match. You don't want to sit there and read a bunch of text in the menu. We just want you to be able to open it, grok your answer real quick, hit left, hit right, and move on.
Even in co-op, pausing the game isn't really something that you do, right? So what's the next one?
All right, so these are for his ultimate. At level 10, you're getting sort of your top level ultimate unlock. You've had your, for him, he does this giant aerial thrust. So he jumps up, hovers around the battlefield for a couple seconds and just slams down, does massive AoE damage. A lot of people use it to escape or get up on high ledges. So he can either upgrade this to, say, okay, I want that instant takeoff. I just want to be able to mash the button and just rocket off to the sky. Great for avoiding damage. Or I can get on my other side of it. I can get up there and just rain grenades down while, you can't touch me because I'm 20 feet up in the sky. And again, it's just a sort of, both of them are really badass. People always complain when you get to level 10, they're the game-breaking AUGs. These are the things that, you're the first person to level 10. You should feel really good about yourself. Break the map. You're in charge now. Take control of the map and just finish it.
This character is actually playable on the show floor, right?
Yeah, you can go play him
So
right
if you visit our Battleborn booth on the show floor here at PAX, you can pick Caldarius, check him out, have a lot of fun. Who else we got? You guys going to show us the next slide?
Think we're moving on to cosplay? That's Rath. That's my boy. Kester, you were really involved with making Rath. How would you describe him?
What is the term that we said? Samurai, vampire, katana.
Yeah, laser sword wielding samurai vampire.
Yeah, that's what we walked out of a meeting with because that was the character that I wanted to make the most, actually. So, and what's rad about Rath is this, to speak to the testament of the collaboration at Gearbox, which is awesome. Even a goofy artist like myself, I was like, hey, these are all the skills I want him to do, and this is how it should work. And thankfully, guys like BT and Zach Ford, I think, was the one that actually started the character. But we were able to sort of take this more action-heavy, like melee character that you might play in like DMC or Bayonetta or something, and we were stupid enough, or I don't know, to try to make a game that you could play an all melee-based character against snipers and stuff. But that was the challenge that we wanted. And that was something that I know Randy, we were passionate about, that we wanted every character to feel like different, and not just the guy with a gun that shoots a slightly different, staccato or ratio of bullets or whatever. So, and that was the thing. We talked about Benedict. We're up here. We talked about Caldarius right there. These flight characters and melee characters, and how do they work against a more traditional FPS character?
Yeah, I actually think like a third of our 25 characters are like melee or close range based, really different, not gun wielding at all.
So let's look at a couple of Rath skills really quick if we can. And you can play Rath as well, I believe. We have him playable?
Yes.
Yeah, so let's really quick, let's look at the some of the Rath skills. BT, do you want to run us through this?
Yeah, so in the video you saw him shoot out that giant X-blade, we call it the crossblade, in order to let him kill snipers and people that are running around all the time. You can AUG it so you can like hit any target you hit, you can slow, so you can just pin somebody down, run up, stab him in the face. He's also got this awesome skill where he takes the Buster Sword off his back and just unleashes this shockwave to set up his targets. And you can AUG that so it just turns into this like giant, wide, V-shaped carnage damage wave. So you're really picking like, do I want to just control the battlefield, or do I just want to like aim at a single target, lock him down, and go run up and Jedi lightsaber toss my sword right in his face? And then talking about, like trying to make that melee loop work against all these people that are going to have guns and stuff like that. Some of his next augments that we're going to look at, he can sit there and, like the left side is much more oriented around movement. So for him, he's getting a double jump on that side. So now you can unlock areas of the map that you couldn't get to before. You can use that double jump to evade targets, maybe jump over somebody's head, come up behind them.
It makes Rath terrifying. But fun fact, the original name for that left augment was holy shit, Rath can double jump.
Yes.
I think.
I get to
that's usually what people would just straight up say when they saw it happen. Like, oh no!
But what's sick about the double jump is during his ult, now you can double jump with it too. So you can be on the ground, jumping up and hitting Caldarius, who's being an asshole, up in the air, and just going up there and hitting him.
Nothing is more engaging in life than watching somebody rocket up as Caldarius and think they're immune up there, and then just double jump and just whack them right in the face. And talking about that ult, he's got this skill called Dreadwind, where he basically pulls out all the swords, just goes into this whirling dervish, just taking lots of area damage and just taking out a massive clump of enemies. And he can augment that, so every time he's killing things, he's getting these speed boosts and just sort of rocking around the arena. Or he's because he's sort of that melee character, all of his right side augments are kind of, I call it the Wolverine tree, because it's just about like, I just want to indiscriminately swing my swords at things, cause damage, stay up, you can't kill me, I'm the best that ever was. Like, so at that end, it's like, okay, you're popping your ult because your shield's down, so as long as your shield's down, you get bonus damage. So like you want to be a suicidal maniac with him on that side.
What is so funny about this is that Chris Baylor is desperately typing on the screen, please hurry up, oh God. But this is what happens every day. They just can go for hours. But now I'm just saying it, please hurry up.
Chris Baylor's literally typing, please hurry up, oh God.
Please hurry up, oh God.
Oh God, Chris Baylor's dying.
Oh God, we're out of time, oh God.
Amazing.
Can we get a round of applause for Chris Baylor?
Yes, huge round of applause. That's our boy back there.
He has organized almost everything at PAX, and he's a wonderful human being. So we're going to move on.
This is really cool stuff. This is like behind the scenes of our development. That's kind of what these people came here for.
But now you know what happens when I say, like, who would win in a fight, RoboCop or Ninja Turtle? And then 4 hours of hot debate will come.
Hey,
We'll figure it out.
I honestly,
RoboCop for the record.
Wait,
I see what you've written
classic
here, Chris.
RoboCop or new RoboCop?
I actually
no
don't know
new
what you
RoboCop,
decided on.
Brian
What we're doing.
Thomas.
Hold on a second. I need to sort something out. I understand. Can you come out and do this? Because I actually don't know what you intend to do.
Use your words with your mouth instead of typing. There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Chris Baylor.
Yeah.
It is Chris Baylor.
If you have so many complaints about how we're doing things, why don't you come out and do it?
Who's going to hit next on the slides?
Skull.
Hi, Jeff.
Okay.
Go backstage.
So one of the things that's going to happen really soon is we're going to do a closed technical test that if you're lucky you'll get a chance to participate in, and if you'd like to try, go there. rsvp.battleborn.com, and you could register for our upcoming test. It's this will be the first time anybody in the world has to play Battleborn. We haven't announced the date yet, but if you register, I think before October 15th, is that right? Then you'll be first in line. And I'm telling you guys first because I know some of you will really want to be a part of that. So that's cool. And